student, welcome you all to this session. From today we are going to start classical electrodynamics remaining part from semester 2. So let us start with the new topic that is boundary value problems in electrostatics and solution of Laplace equations. So let us start with the topic boundary value problems in electrostatic and solution of Laplace equation. The problems in electrostatics which are solved by considering boundary conditions are known as boundary value problem. An electric field can completely describe by giving out the charge distribution or electric intensity at all points or the electric potential at all points in the given region. But in some cases, if you don't know the charge distribution in all space, instead we are given the values of potential on certain surfaces of charge distribution in a certain region of limited space, then in such cases to obtain electrical potential at any point, what we require? The Laplace law or Poisson's law. So Laplace equation can be described like this. The Poisson's and Laplace equations are the result of combining Gauss's law, that is in differential form, with the gradient of electric field. The differential form of Gauss's law is del dot E is equal to rho upon epsilon naught, where rho is a volume charge density. But we know that the electric intensity is equal to minus del phi, where phi is the electric potential. So using this equation, in this equation, what we get? Let us see. Then we have del square phi. What we are doing? We are putting the value here, this E value here. So what we have, del square phi is equal to rho epsilon naught, and this is known as Poisson's equation. The solution of this equation gives field or potential in the region where the charges are present. If the region of electric field is free from charges, that is what, rho is equal to 0, then this equation can be written as del square phi is equal to what? 0, and this is known as Laplace equation, where the charges are absent or charges are not present. So Laplace equation is del square phi is equal to what? 0. In Cartesian coordinate, phi, so what we have to do now? We have to find out Laplace equation Cartesian coordinate. So the Cartesian coordinate is equal to phi of xy z, and del square is equal to what? Dabba square by dabba x square plus dabba square by dabba y square plus dabba square by dabba z square. That means what? Del square phi upon dx dabba square plus dabba square phi upon dabba y square per dabba square phi upon dabba z square is equal to what? 0. This equation is known as Laplace equation in Cartesian coordinate system. To obtain the solution of Laplace equation, let us first obtain ordinary differential equation from the above partial differential equation. What we have to do? This is a partial differential equation. So by using this, we have to obtain ordinary differential equation. So using this method of separation of variable. So what we have, phi x y z is equal to phi of x, y of y, z of z. That means what? X is a function of x only, y is a function of y only, and z is a function of z only. Using phi is equal to x y z in this equation, we are going to use phi is equal to xyz. We are going to put phi is equal to xyz in this equation. So by putting the value, what we have, dabba square by dabba x square xyz plus dabba square by dabba y square xyz plus dabba square by dabba z square xyz is equal to what? 0. That means what? Yz, here yz is constant, so by taking it outside what we have yz into dabba square by dabba x square into x, because x is a function of x only. Hence y is a function of y only. Hence we can write the second term as xz into dabba square by dabba y square into y. Similarly the third term. Now we have to divide this equation by x by z. So by dividing it, what we have, 1 upon x, see the last equation, 1 upon x into dabba square x by dabba x dx square plus 1 upon y d square y by dy square plus 1 upon z d square z by d z square. Since each term in above equation contains a different independent variable and all the three terms cancel, each term must be equal to the some constant. So what we get? So we get the terms which are shown here, 1 upon x into d square x upon dx square is equal to c1. The middle term is c2 and the third term is c3, where c1 c2 are the constant with c1 plus c2 plus c3 is equal to what? 0. This equation suggests that at least one of these constant must be positive and one other must be negative. While solving problem, which constants are positive and which are negative will be decided by physical situation of the given problem. So assuming, now we are going to assume that C1 is positive, C2 and C3 are negative, and setting C2 is equal to minus k square and C3 is equal to minus L square, we get, using C1 is equal to k square plus L square, C2 minus k2 square and C3 minus L square in equation 1.33. That means these three equations. So what we have, 1 upon x into d square x upon x square, k square is equal to h square. And the last term, 1 upon z d square z upon z dz square is equal to minus L square. Thus Laplace equation in Cartesian coordinate can be separated into the following three ordinary differential equations, like this: d square x upon dx square minus k square plus L square into x is equal to 0. The solution of this differential equation may be written as x of x is equal to a e raised to root of k square plus L square x plus b e raised to minus root of k square plus L square x. The second term can be written as d square y d upon dy square plus k square y is equal to 0. The solution of this equation may be as y of y is equal to sin ky plus d cos ky. Third one is d square z upon dz square plus k L square z is equal to 0. The solution of this equation may be written as z of z is equal to sin z of z. The solution for this equation may be z of z is equal to e sin Lz plus f cos Lz, where a, b, c, d, e and f are arbitrary constant. Thus we get first solution exponential and the last two solutions oscillatory. Equation 1.32b suggests that out of three variables, at least one variable we must have trigonometric behavior, that is oscillatory behavior, and at least one other variable have exponential. The solution of Laplace equation is a product of this solution shown by the above three equations. Let phi is equal to x of x, y of y, z of z. So phi is equal to into bracket a e raised to plus root of k square plus L square x plus b e raised to minus root of k square plus L square x into sin of ky plus d cos of ky into e sin Lz plus f cos Lz. So by equating these three terms, we obtain this equation which is labeled as 1.43. The constant involved in above equation can be obtained from the boundary conditions to be satisfied by potential phi. The solution shown by the above equation is one particular solution of Laplace equation. There may be other values of constant k, L which gives valid solutions. Thus general solution of Laplace equation can be written, which is given here. It must be noted that while solving the problem, if the given surface S on which the boundary conditions are specified coincides with the coordinate surface of Cartesian's system, then only a solution can be obtained by this technique in a Cartesian system. In Cartesian coordinate system, coordinate surfaces are planes parallel to the coordinate axis. In two-dimensional problems, now we are looking forward the two-dimensional problems. The Laplace equation in Cartesian coordinate may be written as, so this is two-dimensional problems elaborated here, where two dimensions are x and y. So d square phi dabba square phi x of y upon dabba x square plus dabba square phi x of y upon y square. Assuming phi of xy x into y we get dabba square xy upon dabba x square plus dabba square xy upon dabba y square is equal to 0. So y into dabba square x upon dabba x square plus x into dabba square y upon dy square is equal to 0. Dividing the above equation by xy, what we have 1 upon x d square x upon dx square plus 1 upon y d square y upon dy square. Since each term in the above equation contains a different independent variable and a term cancel, we can write first term as c1, second term as c2. So one of the constant is positive and other two is negative. Hence c1 is equal to k square and c2 is equal to minus k square, where 1 upon x dx square d square x upon dx square is equal to k square, or d square x upon dx square minus k square x is equal to 0, and 1 upon y d square y upon dy square is equal to minus k2. Then d square y upon dy square plus k square y is equal to 0. The solution of the differential equation may be written as, this is x of x a e raised to kx plus b e raised to minus kx, and y of y is equal to c sin ky plus d cos of ky. So phi is nothing but x of x into y of y. So we get the product of these two terms here. Hence in one dimensional problem, the Laplace equation may be written as dabba square phi of x dabba x square is equal to 0, or dabba square phi upon dabba x square is equal to 0. The general solution of above equation is phi of x is equal to c1x plus c2. So in this way we find the Laplace equations. Now let us move towards the method of electrical image. A charge placed near the conducting body induces charge on it. So while calculating electrical intensity or potential at any near conductor, we must consider actual charge as well as induced charge. As we do not know the induced charge density over the body, it is very difficult to calculate electric intensity and voltage at any point near the conductor. Hence, the method of electrical images makes it possible, because the whole of the induced charge can be replaced by a single point charge, which is known as imaginary charge. The position and the value of imaginary charge is such that the imaginary charge together with the actual specified charge reduces the potential to fix a value at all point on the conductor. This imaginary point charge is known as electrical image of the original charge. So, the concept of electrical image can be understood by considering this simplest problem of a point charge near an infinite grounded conducting plate. Let the charge plus q be placed at a perpendicular distance d from the surface S of a grounded conducting plate of infinite extent. Since the plate is grounded, the potential phi at any point is 0. Okay. Since the plate is grounded, the charge plus q near the conducting plate induces charge on it. In order to find potential and field at any point in the region on the right hand side of the plate, the actual induced charge must be taken into account. Let us imagine that minus q is placed at distance d behind the plane of surface of the plate. Okay, we have to imagine that minus q is also placed at distance d from this plane. Since the charges plus q and minus q are at equal distance from every point of the plane surface, the potential at any point on the surface due to these charges is zero. It is obvious that if we remove the grounded conducting plate and the charge minus q is placed at r and minus q is placed at r, every point on y dash which was previously occupied by the conducting plate will be zero potential. Thus, introducing minus q at point r and removal of the plate does not affect on the flux on right hand side of the plane. So the condition of the problem remains unaltered by removal of the plate. म्हणजे आपण ही प्लेट काढून टाकली किंवा राहू दिली तरी पण फ्लक्सवर काहीच फरक पडत नाही, कारण मायनस क्यू आणि प्लस क्यूमुळे काय होतं आहे, सेम चार्जेस इथे डेव्हलप होत आहे. ओके, सो this is clear that the potential or field produced by plus q placed at point P and minus q placed at point R is at same potential or field produced by plus q and minus q. Okay, produced by charge plus q at point P and induced charge on conducting plate. Therefore, the field or potential produced at any point due to charge minus q is equivalent to induced charges on the plate. From this figure or discussion, the charge minus q appears exactly equivalent to the induced charge on the plate. From the optical analogy, the charge minus q is called as image charge. Therefore, an electrical image may be defined as a point charge or set of point charges on one side of surface, such that distribution of field remains the same as on the other side with the actual electrification of surface. The actual electrification is the ignored and the images are used instead of plane to find the field. The necessary conditions while solving electrostatic problem by using method of electrical so the electric flux through any closed surface in the original field must remain same. The potential of the conductor must remain same. The potential at infinite distance point must remain same. Necessary conditions. The procedural steps for solving a particular electrostatic problems are as follows. Without violating the boundary conditions, determine the correct magnitude and position of the image charge. This can be done simply by inspection of the geometry of the problem. In the problem, the potential and intensity at any point are calculated using the given values of charge and image charge. The presence of the conductor is ignored at this step, and the normal component of electric intensity at the surface of the condition is calculated. A point charge near a grounded conducting plane. Now let us see this problem. So consider a point charge plus q placed at a perpendicular distance d from the grounded conducting plate of infinite extent as shown in this figure. This is the plus q. Okay, we have seen that the above problem remains unaltered if we remove the grounded plate and replace it by minus q that we already discussed at perpendicular distance d on the left side from y dash plane. Okay, at perpendicular distance d on the left side y dash plane, which is shown in this figure. Since the conducting plane is grounded, the potential at point on plane is zero. We can verify this by showing that potential at point on the y plane is zero. If the point P is on y plane, then charge plus q and minus q are at equal distance from point P. Let it be R, the potential at point on the plane due to charge plus q and minus q. See this one. Okay, this one R. Okay, the potential at point P on the plane, let it be R, this one. The potential at point P on the plane due to charge plus q and minus q is, so phi is equal to q upon 4 pi epsilon r minus q upon 4 pi epsilon r is equal to 0. Thus the boundary condition is satisfied. Now point charge near the grounded conducting sphere. I am going to discuss this. Now with the instead of plane we are going to consider a sphere. Consider a grounded conducting sphere of radius a. Let the point charge q is placed at distance d from the center of the sphere as shown in this figure. Since the sphere is grounded, its potential is 0. The charge plus q is kept near the sphere, induced charge on the sphere. We know that induced charge can be replaced by image charge. The position, magnitude and sign of the image charge is such that this position, magnitude and sign of the image charge such that this charge together with the charge plus q makes the potential at any point of the surface is equal to 0. Let the image charge q is situated at point B inside the sphere at distance b, small b, from the center, this one. In accordance with the boundary condition, the potential at any point such as P on the surface S due to charge Q and Q dash is 0. Therefore, phi of P is equal to Q upon 4 epsilon 0 small r plus Q dash upon 4 pi epsilon 0 capital R is equal to 0, or Q upon R plus Q dash upon R is equal to what? 0, where R is the distance of point P from the charge plus Q and R is the distance of point P from the charge Q, which is given here. This is small r, that is the distance P from A point, and this is R, distance P from point B. Okay. This equation can be written as Q capital R is equal to minus Q dash R. On squaring on both sides, what we have, Q square R square is equal to minus Q dash square R square. So from figure 1.26b, so see this figure, from this figure, okay, this is the one triangle and this is the another triangle. What we have, let us see. R square is equal to A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta. Capital R square is equal to A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta. So let us see the figure again. R square, this R square, A square, and this is B square, and the angle is this one, theta. So what do you have? A square capital R square plus A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta. Similarly, small r square is equal to, let us see, small r square is equal to A square plus B plus D square minus 2AD cos theta. This is this one. Small r square is equal to A square minus D plus D square minus 2AD cos theta. Okay, so this equation we will obtain from the previous figure. Therefore, Q square into bracket A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta is equal to Q dash square is equal to A square plus D square minus 2AD cos theta. What we did, we just put the values of r square here and small r square here. Here theta is the angle between OP and line OA. I just told you this. This is from previous figure. Since this equation is valid for values of theta equating the coefficient of cos theta, what we have, Q square minus Q square into twice AB is equal to minus twice AD is equal to Q into Q dash square. So B is equal to what? By transferring or by adjusting the above terms, what we have, B is equal to D into Q dash square upon Q square. Okay, so let alpha is equal to q dash square upon q square, that is q dash square is equal to alpha q square. So what we assume, we are assuming here alpha is equal to q dash square upon q square. So what do we have? Q dash square is equal to alpha into q square. So b is equal to alpha into d. The remaining terms of the equation, this equation, okay, I am talking about this equation. The remaining term of the equation may be expressed as q square into a square plus b square is equal to q dash square into a square plus d square. Using this equation, in this equation what we have, q into alpha a square plus alpha square d square is equal to alpha q square into a square plus d square. Okay, so these two equations are used here, and what we have get this new equation. So a square plus alpha square d square is equal to alpha a square into plus alpha d square, or d square alpha square minus in bracket a square plus d square alpha plus a square. Above equation is a quadratic equation in alpha, hence we get the root as alpha is equal to a square plus d square plus minus root of a square plus d square bracket square minus 4d square a square upon 2d square. So after solving, what we have, a square plus d square plus minus root into bracket a square minus d square upon 2d square is equal to a square upon d square or 1. So we get these two roots, a square upon d square or 1. Thus we have alpha is equal to 1 or alpha is equal to a square upon d square. If alpha is 1, from the equation 1.56 and 1.57, what we have? Okay, from these two equations, if alpha is 1, what we have? Q dash square is equal to q square and b is equal to d. Q dash is equal to plus minus q and b is equal to d. The equation b is equal to d suggests that the image charge is outside the sphere, but image charge must be inside the sphere of sphere. So the solution alpha is equal to is discarded. This equation is discarded. Using alpha is equal to a square upon d square. So we are using the second root in equation 1.56 and 1.57. So what we have, q dash square is equal to a square upon d square into q square, b is equal to a square upon d square into d, or q dash square is equal to plus minus a upon d into q, or b is equal to a square upon d. So according to the boundary condition, the potential at point P due to charge q and q dash is 0. So to satisfy it, we must choose q dash negative. Therefore we get q dash is equal to minus a upon d into q and b is equal to a square upon d. Thus we get position and value of image charge. So with this we are going to finish our today's topic. Thank you.